in 2022, there was some issues that I adamantly disagreed with a person on. Like 100% you think this way and I think this way. But that doesn't mean you can't work with them. That doesn't mean you can't have fun with them. That doesn't mean you can't go out and enjoy things and moments and spaces with these people just because you don't think the same way. You always have a connection to anybody who's just living the human experience.
Right.
And it's just getting your ego out of the way in order to do it.
Yes. And when there's a disagreement, use it as an opportunity to understand something that you might not know. Right. Help me understand how you're so passionately, and I'm completely the opposite. Mm-hmm. What a beautiful opportunity if you can drop the emotions to both exchange what you believe, and maybe you'll both walk away better. With a better understanding, at the very least, you'll walk away with a better understanding of the other person's perspective. Right. And everyone wants to be understood. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is a brand new year and a brand new series in the Budo Brothers podcast. You got Eric.
And Kyle. And I just wanted to say, 2023 is going to be the best year yet.
Is it?
That's always the biggest curse.
That is the truth. How many times have you heard that? Like, this is the year where we're going to do all these things, and half the time it never comes true. And honestly, that's some of my beef with setting goals.
Really?
Actually.
How do you, prior years, have you set New Year's goals?
Yes, but in an indirect way. I think I have a challenging relationship with goals because anytime in my work life, my boss has helped me set corporate goals. Half the time I get goals that I'm not actually that jacked about and I have to pretend like I'm super excited about it, and then I have to, well, you didn't meet your goals, and you just, I feel like there's this if they're not your authentic own that are emanating from the core of your being, you're just being told to do shit you don't want to do.
Right. And why do you think it is that the first of the year is when 90% of people are just gung-ho on setting goals? What is it about that changeover that sparks this?
I think it's a bit of culture. I think that's what we always have done. Mm-hmm. New Year's resolution. What are your New Year's? And gym memberships go through the roof and they last 30 days. Yeah. And then you're back into your old shitty habits.
Right.
And so that's where personally, I actually want to take this year to actually get good at setting my own goals. And when you listen to people that are really good at setting goals, they have to be measurable. It has to be quantifiable.
Right.
There has to be a timeline to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get this done by that date. I'm going to produce X by Y.
Right.
Measurable, quantifiable. You can set a time to it.
Yeah. The SMART goal, I think.
SMART goal. Oh, yeah.
Specific, measurable, action, something like that.
Something along those lines.
There's a thing like SMART goals.
Yeah, exactly.
In the business world. But yeah, it seems that end of a year is a perfect break in cycle. Even on the year of the rat, there's always things change over. The seasons repeat. It is a new cycle. It is another year around the sun, right? So naturally, you want to start everything off fresh. It's like the first day of school. Everybody likes to go shopping and get their new outfit and leave it and set it aside. And then the first day of school, you go with your best outfit feeling fresh, right?
That's it.
And that's how we start years. But goals are enough to get you started, but not enough to carry you through a full year. Mm-hmm. And we see that consistently in gyms. We see that consistently in learning Spanish. I set a goal, I think, last year to learn Spanish. Now, I have gotten much better. I can understand it a lot more, but I'm still not fluent. And I didn't keep the pace that I was learning it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And how true is that to so many different things? It's always like the hardest, most challenging things and the main focus of your life always gets the most attention, and all the peripheral things kind of fade away.
Yeah. You start out strong and then you lose momentum, and then you can justify your way to your old habits and things, shocker, a lot of times you look back at the year and what have I done? How far have I gotten? What have I accomplished? And that's where I think actually putting pen to paper and having someone that can hold you accountable as well. And they say you should be articulating your goals, putting it out there into the universe, and have someone be like, hey, how are you doing with that?
Yeah.
Being accountable.
And we do it all the time. Like you have something that's coming up that, you know, I call you out on and you vice versa. Call me out on stuff. When you say something,
you got to do it.
Well, you got to do it, but it also helps if somebody's checking you like, hey,
yeah,
you said this. But it's good to share your goals with other people because it makes you have a sense of accountability. Accountability is a big reason people adhere to goals. That's why people get a personal trainer. The trainer isn't going to do much else for you but hold you accountable
to that extra rep.
To that rep, to showing up, to that. Even if it's not emotionally, it's financially. You're paying for something. You show up and do it.
And I think discipline has so much to do with it as well. You know, when you're motivated, new year, starting fresh, gonna get after it. You're waking up early. You're quitting drinking. Normally we're drinking wine on the podcast.
Yeah.
And we're drinking herbal tea right now.
No joke.
We're going 30 days straight stone cold sober.
Right. Well, that's also too because the holiday season is the most fun and you tend to overdo it. Like I was out partying with my cousins and it was just too much.
I abused my body this holiday season.
And you end up eating way too much food and feeling uncomfortable.
And then you open that bottle of wine and, I mean, the bottle's open. I mean, what are you going to let it go bad?
Yeah.
It's the responsible thing to do, to drink it.
It's funny, though, because things all go in circles. At the end of the year is the air and is like excess, right? For most people, they're out there spending way too much money. I know even myself included, I spend way too much money because you get caught up in the consumerism and you get caught up in this presents and this and that and all these different things. And then you get into the excess of just like partying, right? You're off. Like some people get vacations and or you're around family, you're eating too much, drinking
Eggnog
too much.
Oh yeah, all the fixins. But at the same time, it is good to indulge and realize how damaging a consistent lifestyle like that can be.
Yes.
After drinking for 2 straight weeks, you start getting the booze blues.
100%. And one thing that I notice the most when I'm doing all this crazy excess eating and drinking and not working is that you end up missing your regular routine.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you put in place that kind of keeps you going, you miss it because you have a certain way you eat, you have a certain way you sleep, you have a certain way you do things. And that, when it's interrupted, you're like, oh man, I feel it. Like I feel it huge. And I think that's a key thing to goal setting. You said that you have to make it a habit, right? And the way to make it a habit is to somehow fit it into your daily routine where it's not too uncomfortable to manage. Like if your goal is to lose 30 pounds this year, and you start off, you cut all your carbs and you're exercising 3 times a day, you're not going to last more than 2 weeks.
Right.
But if you take baby steps and, you start off by walking or showing up at the gym or, switching to natural foods, generally you can fit that in fairly easy without offsetting all the work a few weeks later.
Nice. I think a lot of goals, there's intention behind it as well. What are your intentions behind the goals? What does it align with you and what you want to achieve, what you want to become, what you want to avoid, what you would like your life to be like? What would you say is a word for this year for an intention for some of your goals?
One that just slapped me in the face, and I really like setting goals in intentions versus like, oh, I want to make $6 million. Like, great, cool. That's not anything to do with the SMART goal. Setting an intention means this is how you're going to conduct yourself in order to achieve the goals. This is you focusing on your process rather than the end result.
Nice.
So my biggest word for 2023 is going to be focus.
Nice.
Focus, focus, focus. Trying to subtract away all of the noise, all of the distractions, the things that are stealing my life, stealing my attention,
Yeah.
and putting it and rearranging it into a channeled form in order to achieve the things that I set out to do. And so focus is a huge area where I want to spend my time, because I was speaking to a friend and she just recently went in through a breakup, and I said, you got to stop wasting your time and life on people that don't increase your finances or increase you emotionally or increase your knowledge or are in a relationship to fulfill you with love and joy and happiness. Like
additive.
If something is not adding to your life in one of those ways, like financially, emotionally, spiritually, like love, like inputting, they should not be subtracting time from you, or else it's just a charity, which is fine. But even if you give to somebody, that's going to fill you up spiritually and emotionally. So make sure that you're focusing on the elements that fulfill you.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah. And you, what do you think your main focus is?
Creation.
Ooh.
Creation is the theme of my year. It is the year of the rabbit. I was at the Usage Jinja Take Dojo for the New Year's ceremony on January 1st with our sensei, and it was beautiful. And our sensei was speaking about how we're going into the year of the rabbit, and the rabbit symbolizes abundance. They proliferate.
Yeah.
When an animal screws like a rabbit, it makes a lot of rabbits. So it symbolizes abundance and proliferation. And I thought that I just resonated so much with me where, yeah, that's what I want to create. I want to create abundance in all facets of my life. And in order to do that, you have to create. Abundance just doesn't come. It doesn't just arrive. You have to create it. You have to serve other people. You have to create amazing products that other people find value in. You have to be of service. You have to create value. And the key word there is create. To be creative, to dream new products, to dream new ideas, to come up with new things that you and I have not thought of yet.
Right.
Things that we're not doing right now that could completely change our trajectory.
Yes.
That's what I want to do this year.
And creation is one of those things that's like you just throw in this element. It's like magic, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Because when you're operating within a frame of reference, right? Let's say it's within a business. You have all the elements within your business. You could do your profit and loss. You could predict your future. You could predict what happens if you have a bad sales month. But the magic, all of a sudden, you throw in some creation that adds value, and it completely shifts the model instantly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's like it could put things on steroids. It could change your look. Like it could change everything.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what innovation is.
Yes.
Innovation is creativity. Innovation is some entrepreneur or some inventor or somebody who has an idea that hasn't been brought into this universe yet. And you are the conduit in which these things come to reality.
Yeah.
And that process has forever blown my mind. And we are all creative beings. That's what we do here. Yeah. We create things.
I think it was Joe Rogan who said that ideas could be life forms, and we're the people that bring them to life.
Yeah.
Like
we birth them.
Exactly. Like, you know, in a different realm or dimension that they exist and they're floating around there, but they only come to life through us, right? They've come through this conduit.
Yeah.
Because ideas, goals, intentions, they're all really cool. They're amazing. They feel good in the moment. But until you combine that with action and discipline,
Yes.
they're nothing.
They're worth nothing.
They are worth nothing.
And how I can say that with certainty is the laws of supply and demand. I can come up with 1,000 ideas. If you can do something ad infinitum, there's technically no value there. Right. The rarity, which makes an idea valuable, is the execution to bring the idea to life.
And that brings up a very valid question. Because ideas are so free, goals are so free, how many goals or ideas should you focus on at a time?
One thing that you and I have found success in is completing cycles, right. Choosing something to complete. And instead of juggling 70 different things at the same time and not completing any of them, it's tough to say. I think you can work on multiple things at the same time because what it is you're doing is improving your life in multiple levels. Yeah. If you have a financial goal, if you have a relationship goal, and maybe you partner someone that you're a significant other and you start a business with, there, boom, 2 goals in one shot.
Right.
Like you can stack them, you can complete things, but as long as you have that North Star and you're working towards it, it also depends on your level, your bandwidth.
Correct.
How much bandwidth do you have to properly execute on the objectives that you would like to execute on?
Mm-hmm. And as a younger entrepreneur, I used to set crazy amount of goals for my business. Okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have this, and I'm going to need this many people, and I need blah, 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 blah. I have this giant list. And that's kind of why I've melted it down to this method of choosing an intention.
Nice.
And because I know if I follow this one thing, if I focus this year,
nice,
it will accomplish even more than what I ever could dream of. But I have to stick to that intention. And it's simple. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Yes.
Instead of getting lost in all this craziness, because the world changes so much. What we know today could be so different in 3 months. But me putting focus on my craft and on my purpose, that's going to stay the same throughout the whole year.
Beautiful.
And it just allows you to keep chipping away. And one thing I hope that everybody could incorporate into this year is the ability to dissolve some of this noise and negativity, right? The media, the climate, like 2022 was full of misinformation. I think 2022 was the year of misinformation.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And who do you trust?
Exactly. Like, media just literally broke in 2022. If you were to recap it, for me, that's the biggest thing that happened. Like, you don't know what is what, who's saying this, left and right, and it polarized everything and everyone.
Yeah.
For 2023, I hope that as a society, we can just take it for what it is, which is noise, and just get back to focusing on our craft and what matters. Just focus on your day-to-day, the people in your life, being good in your community, doing the right thing, and it will solve the world's issue of trust and instability.
Let's get
simple things.
Beautiful. Let's get back to humanity. Yes. Caring about our communities. That's the key thing. Uniting and quitting all this divisiveness. We all bleed the same blood.
Yeah. And I really realized, because in 2022 there was some issues that I adamantly disagreed with a person on. Like, 100% you think this way and I think this way. But that doesn't mean you can't work with them. That doesn't mean you can't have fun with them. That doesn't mean you can't go out and enjoy things and moments and spaces with these people just because you don't think the same way. Because even as much dissimilarities that you have with a person, we're all human and we all love the same thing. We want to be loved. We want to be respected. We want to have a community. We want to eat good food. We
all want the same things.
To sleep.
We argue about how we go about doing those things.
So you always have a connection to anybody who's just living the human experience.
Right.
And it's just getting your ego out of the way in order to do it.
Yes. And when there's a disagreement, use it as an opportunity to understand something that you might not know. Right. Help me understand how you're so passionately, and I'm completely the opposite. What a beautiful opportunity if you can drop the emotions to both exchange what you believe, and maybe you'll both walk away better with a better understanding. At the very least, you'll walk away with a better understanding of the other person's perspective. Right. And everyone wants to be understood.
And in the rare case when you let go of emotions and have those conversations, sometimes you might change the other person's mind. And in better cases, sometimes you might change your mind. And just being okay with like, oh yeah, dang, I wasn't right on that one.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you know? Exactly. Not easy to do.
Very hard to do. Very hard to do. But Budo Brothers Challenge.
Whew. Find your intention for 2023.
Find your word, your intention.
What's your word?
Yes.
Yes. You got focus.
Yes.
Mine is creation. I'm going to create in 2023.
And if you email us your word or your intention, we might throw in a little surprise.
A little something.
Yeah.
I love it. Wicked. info@budobrothers.com.
Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Beautiful. Until next week.
Adios.